Okay, we've done everything completely backwards on this truck. So, you know, I have it now tagged and insured, and I have my gas tank in it and it runs out of it, but we have no heat. We also, have very sketchy brakes. We have the, booster that I need to put on, and we're going to move that out of the way for now because we're not doing that. Of course, we don't want to fix the brakes first. We first want some heat because it's cold and I'd like some heat. So let me grab the box here and I'll show y'all real quick. So there's a bolt here, a bolt down here, and a bolt here. If it wasn't for this bolt up here, which y'all can't see me pointing at, wasn't for this bolt up here, we wouldn't have to pull the dash. But there's a vent right here, right directly in front of that bolt. Therefore, you cannot pull that without pulling the dash. Now, consequently, if I wanted to avoid pulling the dash, I could pull the heater control box, which is a couple screws here, and this valve and change out. But at that point, it's probably easier just to swap the whole thing out. Now, I do have one issue. All the controls on this one work except for this one. This one ain't doing anything because this cable is bent. So we'll have to swap out that cable, and we'll have to lubricate this mechanism, spray some WD on it. So I should probably do that first, spray the WD and let it be doing its thing while I'm taking the dash out and getting this other part out. And as y'all can tell, it's about to get dark. The sun's already set, and so I'll be using some light probably here very shortly. But for right now, I don't need it. And we'll be getting started here pretty quickly. Need a clip from a window crank. Squirrel. That, won't stay on the door. And I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but never mind. If you see the rusty floor pans, never mind that. Here's our console. Won't be putting that in until we get this other part fixed. So, yeah. Oh, that's lovely. There's water in the floor, which I haven't changed the windshield out yet either. Like I said, all the wrong orders. Okay, so real quick, sprayed this, and I don't know whether it's which part is actually not wanting to move. Well, it could be the fact that there's part of a mouse nest in the door there. Now let's check that out. So it could have been the cable itself decided to seize up. So anyways, the cable is bent. So what you do is these little clips, and you take and pry them up, and those will pop right off. And then this just has this little curly Q end, and it'll just slide right off like so. Then there's another clip up here, which if you get a hold of it and push it up from the bottom, it'll come unclipped like that. You don't want to lose those clips because I don't know where you would get them other than used source, Now, here's the thing, is we got to get that cable out, and it's all bent and mangled. Alright, I think, nope, it's got to come on up. So the cable is not actually what's froze. So it was something else that wasn't wanting to move, but it's got the push and pull. That's why these have this stiff cable. And it is not wanting to come out of there. Alright, let's see, like that, and there we go. And see, it just hooks down in there, but this bowed and bent so much. Now, possibly we could just straighten it up if we get the mechanism working the way it should. So this should be pulling and pushing from here. Alright, that's all the way that way. And see, that's the push part, where it's got to push. And see, that part's not wanting to move good. Neither is, it's not wanting to move either direction very well. So all this is done with motors on modern stuff. So on this, it's all mechanical and cables. So this stuff has to work smoothly in order for those cables to be able to function. Basically, this is moving like 3 different doors, all with this one mechanism. So we want to get a little oil on the other end of this one, and then this one, so that when the heat runs, everything's going to smell like WD-40, you know. Oh yeah, it's much better. Make this a little easier. That sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Okay, now you find some pliers and straighten this cable and put it back, and everything should work perfect. So this wire is supposed to be exactly straight. Now, technically I should replace it because it's done bent. That means it's probably going to be weakened. But I believe if it's stiff enough to straighten back up, if I get it good and straight, I think it'll be alright with everything working properly. It just, the doors wasn't working, somebody tried to force it and it bent. So now this works easily. This is completely plastic. It looks like bicycle cable, but bicycle cable has metal inside. Now you can see where the clamp was. That's your adjustment on these. So if I put it back where the clamps was, then I should be right. So we're going to start with dropping that back down in there, and take this housing, line it up with where it was, put our clip back on that one, like so. And then we want to get our other thing here and put that back on there, and then this clip pretty much lines itself up because of the other one, so put that back there. Now this is let's see, vent, so that makes it come out. Well, that's not right, is it? This is defrost up top. The vent should be this back one. So yeah, that should be right. Alright, bi-level. Then heat, that closes this top part off and makes it come out down here in the floor. And then defrost closes the bottom. Okay, maybe this one's for the vent. And it's got a little bit of slack in it. Now there's also adjustment on this part right here. And there's supposed to be little foam things in here to make that work right too. But what I may do is adjust this a little bit. It's actually a Phillip, but yeah, there we go. Snug that up just a little bit. There we go. Now that made that door close right. Now make sure everything else still works. Go all the way over that way. That way. That ought to do it. Now that was the only thing wrong with this one, other than it does need a little bit of cleaning. Because there's a little bit of crud in here. Now I don't know if y'all seen that orange stuff come out. This one unfortunately does have some crud inside the heater core, which as did the engine, and it would be ideal to flush it out, but well, it's December and flushing out coolant systems is not really something I want to be doing right now, so we'll just put him in there and let it clean itself out and do a coolant change in the spring. Okay, so time to pull this dash out now that it's got good and dark. So we're going to get oh, that one's already out. Okay. So there's one. No, that one's it. The one's out in the bottom over there too. So the ones that are going to be a pain are going to be these up here. And I forgot, I'm going to have to use a wrench on them, and I don't have a wrench handy. Crap. Already starting off badly. Okay, so I happen to have a 10 in the other truck. So, save the day. Or the evening. So these things royally suck because you can't get a ratchet in there pretty much, and you have to wrench them out. But there's 3 bolts in the top like this, and I'm about to lose that cap down in the thing. So I'm going to show you what the process is. That you got one here, one in the middle, one on the other side. The one on the other side is exceptionally pain because it's behind the gauge cluster. So I'm going to spare y'all that and just go ahead and do it myself here, and you know, show y'all when I'm about to pull the dash out, I guess. And you can't really get your hand to it, turn it by hand until it get almost out. Okay, there's that. Bolts on each side. Okay, and then y'all probably can't see over here, but there is 2 master plugs in behind this corner. If you pull it out, you can get to them, squeeze the clips, pull the white one, squeeze the clip, pull the blue one. They are color coded, so they'll only go one way. Now, come back around. Oh, trying to fall out. Back around here. Now, of note, the speedometer cable was not hooked up. I hadn't got it hooked up since I swapped the cab. So, you know, when you're pulling the dash, you do have to take care of that typically. I don't even see my speedometer cable, so that's something I'll address when we go to putting the thing back in. But for now, we had to do all that to get to this one bolt right there. We'll do the other bolts. Also of note, the system control here, we have to unclip. This is the fresh air control. Bring y'all in real quick so you can see these things. If you just, it's actually kind of spring loaded down in there, but you just get under them, pry that out, and then just like that other one has a little crook. I done bent that one trying to get it out from loose from there. Anyways, now that I have both ends of it loose, I'll probably just slip it right out of that bunch of stuff and use the other one that's still connected to the box. Okay, now we do have, let me see, make sure y'all can see what I'm showing you here. Okay, so we do have some wires. This one is the light that goes to the control box. So we'll take it off, squeeze that little tab in that comes right off. This one goes to the fan, I believe. Squeeze tabs on the side. Well, got a white one here. Squeeze tab on top of it, it pulls right off. This one here just pulls. That's a bullet connector, but this one wants to be stubborn. Well, there's two more. I have the one on my side over here. It's another nut. And then the bolt on the top. Alright, now those are a little bit longer than, say, the dash bolts. But now, should be able to come loose. Our vents are not wanting to cooperate, though. I may have to take those loose. Crap. Now that I think about it, I remember taking those loose because they go down in there, and in order to get it all loose, you got to take those loose. Now there's a defroster one on off to the side here, but you can just kind of pull them up like that. That, and then that should let him come on out of there. Well, got to get him off past this other box. Now it's just the hose that's got me, I think. And I pulled the clamps off out there, but I didn't pull the little sleeves out, and they may not let it go through. Steel sleeves are out. So now we'll just get hold of our hoses and pull them through. And our box is free. Whew. But I did get everything working on the other one. And seeing how this AC may not matter. So what I'm talking about is your heat control valve right here. And you see how green this is? So I'm sure that it and this trapdoor works together. See, the trapdoor is not stuck. The valve is almost certainly stuck. So I can't. Now I moved it a little with that wrench, but you're not going to move that with no cable. So the other one works free. Now in order to change it, I would have to take these lines loose and this line loose and then this little screw. But we're just going to probably just swap out the whole box, because I'd say this one's probably as cruddy inside as the other one, if not worse. Now I just got to figure whether I want to fool with this or replace this whole thing with the little vent that goes there. Okay, so in deciding to go ahead and completely remove everything for the AC, we're going to also remove this blower and figure out why it's flopping around. But I think it's going to be easier to drop it first, actually. So disconnect those wires, disconnect that wire. So that's your blower is loose. Take this one bolt loose. And our blower should drop. Alright, so okay, the deal is when I took that other stud loose, it also held the blower. So, alright, not a real big deal there. Now, all of this AC stuff right here. So this wiring harness here goes to the gauges in the console. But all this AC stuff, these relays, all this extra stuff goes to the switch. All of this I'm going to keep together. There's a little plug right here, over here to the side. If I squeeze it and it unplugs, then all of that can stay together with the box. And if I ever do decide to fix it, then it's all there. Oh, wow. Somebody's done removed the entire condenser. So that's, I have another one of these now needed if I'm going to fix the AC, because that one doesn't even have the condenser. That's why the lines are missing. Okay, that makes sense now. So there's a little plastic duct that'll take the place of this big massive box. So, but we do still want to keep the wiring in case I do ever decide to. Now, real quick, this needs a little clean out anyway. But, so now we'll take and zip our bolt back out. And slip that out. And yeah, see, there's supposed to be a condenser in there. Or the, I don't know if you call it the condenser, is the outside part. Anyway, there's supposed to be the air conditioning core is completely missing. So now, I don't have that little duct over here. I'll have to find that probably tomorrow. One more thing I want to show y'all. I did finally get that plug undone, and I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but these bottom two prongs, the reason that plug wouldn't come unplugged, those bottom two prongs have been so hot that they've melted the plastic in there together. I had to get channel locks a hold of it, get the big channel locks a hold of it, and just wrestle it and pull it until it came apart. The reason for the channel locks was mainly to hold this part so that I didn't just rip the wires apart. So that's got everything out. Okay, so we're now about to install our heater box. The first thing you want to do is move that screw that you might need one day. First thing we want to do is get it up here close and poke the hoses through. So we got one that'll go in the bottom, and then one that'll go in the top. Now I did have to remove the little metal sleeve that goes in there in order to let those go. Now this side we have a stud that slips up on, and then that side goes on a stud as well, and then in the middle you get your bolt. So we're going to start the bolt in the middle because that'll hold it up there until I get the others in. Yeah, I put my gloves back on. Makes it a little more awkward to work, but it's getting pretty cold out here. I can see my breath, so. I think I'll switch to the little bit shorter extension. Seeing as everything's fairly accessible here. So we wanna, oh! Now I held that up a little bit and the washer hit right on the marks where the washer used to be. So now this stud doesn't get anything on it shared this time. It did before, but we're not using that big box. We're going to use the little duct. There's that one. Now there's one more nut probably laying over on that side. Yeah, there it is. Now I can't get my hand in there, so I'm going to stick the nut in the socket and then fish it up in there. Like that. Now we plug the green wire up for our light, the black wire up for our fan switch, which I'll probably clean that up before I just shove that back in there, because that's why it was stuck. See if I can get some of that plastic out of there. So next we will put our duct in, but now we have to have our duct go here like so, and it fastens here, but our fan has to go in kind of simultaneously. So what I'm going to do is put the fan in the duct and see if I can get the fan on its stud like so, and then we'll get the bolt started in the end of the fan. So a while ago I stuck the fan up there first and I was like, wait a minute, that's not going to work, because with the fan and the box in, you can't get this piece out. So that piece actually has to go kind of in with the fan. Now there is another, here's my other nut right there. So now we want to hold up on the fan while we tighten it. Now there are supposed to be foam gaskets and they're all deteriorated, so I'm sure it's not going to perform as good as it should, but at least we will have some heat, because currently, well, before there was nothing, and until I get those lines hooked up on front, there's still not going to be anything, but that's no big deal. And you know what, I'm not going to use that, well, I was going to say I was going to use that bolt, but these others are all dash bolts, so I guess I will use it. That's what came out of there. And then make sure you get your ground wire back in place. There we go. Now, the other thing here is to get the we're going to put this on here, like so, and then our little clip. There's our little clip. Now that's what I was fighting with earlier. Y'all couldn't see me, but I was fighting with this thing. This one is not the same though. This one ought to slide. Slide, Clyde, slide. Right in there. And there's a rusty spot right there on that, indicating that's where it was, okay? Now that one is the fresh air recirculate. So that's on fresh, recirculate, fresh, recirculate. Perfect. No problems there. All right. So now we just plug our speed control for the fan back up. Now why I say that speed control, I should have showed you that when I had the fan off, but there's little coils in there that slows the fan down according to which ones it goes through. Alright, now these are color coded. So these are the main wires actually powering the fan. So you want to get your red one back to your red, and your blue one back to your blue. Ooh, that's been hot too. That is discolored. Alright, so I'm going to clean that before I hook that one back up. But that's basically it until I hook up the uh-oh. I messed up big time. This goes in behind all of that. So make sure you put this on before you put all that together. Crap. I can probably just take this one bolt loose and let it dip out enough to wiggle that in there, hopefully. We're going to try it. Zip, zap, zop, and then didn't do it right. Nope, I'll have to loosen these at least. Oh, stick my big hand in y'all's face for a minute. Yeah, that let him move a little bit. I don't want to break nothing. So, if I can slip this in there. Let's knock some of the dust off of it. Nope, that's not going to work. Crap. So, you know, pretty much by the time you put it together and take it apart 3 or 4 times, you'll get the hang of it pretty good. So, if I can slip that out there, shit, come on now. Slip that in there. And it goes right down on there like that. Now we can slip this back up in place and lose part of your fasteners. I've heard something just went not only in the floor but right out through the drain hole, I think. That's wonderful. Oh. Now everything works. Hot and cold. All of our doors. All that. I'm assuming the switch works once we get this cleaned up and plugged up. I'm going to get my test light and see if I can dig out some of that plastic that melted into that, which is what made it not want to come out. Now, the reason I know that that's what happened is the heat AC completely quit working in my other truck, my daily, and I tore the whole dash out of it and found out that that was the problem, and I could have actually accessed that plug without taking the dash out. So, if your blower fan quits working on your 720, the plug going from the blower switch, the fan switch, to the wiring harness is the first place you should check. And then if that's not the case, then you might check over here on your blower fan. But this is more likely going to be your problem, because apparently all your current flows through this, and it must get pretty hot sometimes. Wonder if it matters if it's on high or if it's going through those other coils, of how much juice it sends through here. Alright, so that one is actually not even straight in there anymore. So, another thing you can do, what I've done on my other ones, and what causes part of the heat, is the way these are a round spade in this part. So then you've got the socket that it goes in over here, and there's basically a little tab that makes a connection. So if you take and kind of crimp these in a little bit on the flat side on the bottom, say, those two don't seem to get as much juice through them, to where it makes a little tighter connection. Should help. I think that's what I had to do to mine. So we're going to plug this back up, and now it should, see, unplug. Sorry, elbow jaw. Alright, there's that. So now what we need to do is see if our blower fan works, because that's what we were just working on. Let's see. Oh, there was something. I think that was the windshield wipers though. Yep. I'm having issues with my wiper switch. Just unplug that for now. Luckily there's no windshield wipers on it right now. Okay. Low speed. Oh, let's see. That's blowing right out of my face here, which means the defroster is working. So yeah, let's go ahead and move my head out the way. 2, oh boy, 3, and that's all we got, 3 speed. Let's let it blow all that crap out of there. Well, I stand back here. Alright, we're going to call that a success. Because, well, I mean, that's what we wanted. Now all we got to do is put our ducts back in, put our dash back in. Those just go down in there, and then our screws, whatever I done with them, where did I put those? Screws go back in. Oh, here they are. I'll throw them in with these others. Into that. So, you know, the other thing's going to be getting the speedometer hooked up. That'll be nice, because before we didn't have none. And so it's going to take me a minute to find these screws, because I didn't get them put in there where I thought I did. But anyway, just got to tell y'all real quick though, if you ever do a heater core in a Datsun 620, you'll think every other car should be made the same. Because on them, there's literally 4 little clips and 2 hose clamps. You pop the cover off, take the 2 hose clamps off, you can slip the heater core out and change it without even taking the dash or anything else. The only thing is if it has a console, you'll have to remove it. But with these, you have to remove the console and the dash. And on modern vehicles, that is not nearly as easy as it was on this. I don't mind these so bad. Alright, so now I got to find my other screws, put the other 2 back in that. One other thing, we're going to be, y'all still can't see, can you? Let's see if I can get you around here and kind of see the speedo cable. It got fed through from the engine bay and is not anywhere near where it needs to be though. So there it is, and then here's its collar. So I'm going to have to try and get some more slack in it because that's not going to reach. As you see, there's 2 little tabs in there. So this just goes on and turns about 1/4 of a turn and locks in place. It doesn't thread on. Some models thread on. I think 620s thread on, but on these, they do that. Alright, we're about to reinstall the dash, but something I want to show y'all real quick. If you can see it, yeah. So you see this plate right here with the 4 screws in it? On non-AC trucks, there is a vent that connects to that. This block-off plate ain't there. There's a little plastic vent and a little duct that runs out here to your vent in the dash that you can close off or open for fresh air. This being an AC truck, it has the block-off plates, and those vents over here are actually hooked into the heat AC system. So with this setup, when you turn it over on vent, it'll actually blow heat out those vents and the AC when the AC is all present, which we eliminated. But anyways, a little tidbit I just wanted to share with y'all. I have actually put these in and hooked up the vents just to have the extra heat or whatever. I don't really like those because all you do is close the vent down and some cold air can still come through. So now to throw this crappy dash back in here. If I do it this way. Y'all probably couldn't even hear that, so I couldn't even see what I'm doing. Okay, so I got a slack. Got slack in that cable, but looks like I need a little more. I can't. When I take the glove off, I can't feel what I'm doing. I can't see, so I'm having to do it by feel. So the first thing is getting the end started. Y'all can see the speedo, but that's about it, huh? Getting the end started. Sometimes you just gotta kind of wiggle it around, and it'll kind of go in there. There we go. And then you just keep turning that other thing until you feel it pop in there, and then it'll turn a 1/4 turn, and there we go. Speedometer cable in place. See here, get y'all facing this way, because I'm going to push him up here in place. So you got to also line up the duct as you go. And this other duct that goes across has to go in a certain spot. And then that's got to go there. Alright, so goal here is to get one of these bolts lined up enough to get started. So we take and stick our bolt in there. And and drop it. Well, that's using your head. Alright, lined up right there. Alright, that one started. Now I just got to wiggle, jiggle it, get it lined up enough to get the other ones in there. I'm probably not going to put these top ones back in right now because I'm going to eventually change this dash out for a nicer one. I don't have time to really mess with it right now because the other dash is not quite ready. It's got to have a couple things done to it. But anyway, y'all can't really see nothing else here, so I mean basically you get the idea. Okay, real quick, I want to show y'all, these are the two plugs for your dash. I had to pull the dash back out and reroute the speedometer cable because it was in the wrong place, and when I went to put the dash in, it binded and wouldn't let the dash go up. So anyway, I just wanted to show y'all these because it's going to be hard for me to show y'all with the dash in place how you get to those, but I mean, it's pretty simple. Once you get your dash in place, you just plug the two plugs back in. So anyway, just wanted to show y'all that when I actually could see it, or y'all could actually see it. So once again, I didn't have an end to my video, but so I ended up dividing up what I was going to make one video. I ended up dividing up into multiple videos, probably about 3. So this one was the heater core, getting that working, and that took up quite a bit of time. And so hopefully if y'all got to do a heater core, you learned a couple things, what not to do maybe. Get it right the first time. If you don't, then you take it apart and do it again. You get it right eventually. Anyways, we have heat now. So until next time, later.